Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Weekly Awakening Podcast. This is your host, Cosmic Colleen, back with another weekly astrology update. This week, we got a pretty easy week going on, easier than we've had all of June, and we know that June has been pretty simple. All the hard stuff was March, April, and May. This week, we got today, Wednesday, June 21st, the summer solstice. The sun enters Cancer, and here on the East Coast, it enters Cancer at 10:57 a.m. on the East Coast. So by the time this episode posts, we will officially be in Cancer season. Later on this afternoon, we have Mercury in Gemini, and it will sextile Mars in Leo. And on Sunday, the 25th, Mercury will square Neptune. That's all that is going on this week. Last weekend, we had the new moon in Gemini, and a lot of that Gemini Pisces energy. I hope everyone had a new rebirth with this new moon in Gemini, which was all about having fun. I'll tell you what, that is what I did last weekend. If you remember from last week's episode, I said my sister was in town. She lives down south in Mississippi, right outside New Orleans on the Gulf Coast. And she came to town to visit without my niece or nephew, just her. And my mother, her and I, we had an amazing time. We really did. It had been, I was thinking, oh God, 12 years since my sister had my niece, 13 years ago, I guess, maybe longer, 14 years ago since the three of us went on a trip alone. And we just went down to Atlantic City, had an incredible time, but we spent a lot of time together. I have an older brother, but a good chunk of like my high school and early 20s, me, my mom, and my sister spent a lot of time together. And it's just funny in life. You never know when the last time you're going to be together is going to be, and it might be 14 years till the three of you are back into that dynamic. And we had so much fun. You know, my mom's a Pisces, my sister's a Virgo rising and a Leo, I'm a Gemini and a Virgo rising, and so my sister and I have a ton of similarities, and she's an Aries moon. But we both conflict with my mother around the same ways our whole life. We're the similar. We fight because we're similar, but we both have the same sort of conflicts with my mother. And with this new moon in Gemini, and even though it was squared Saturn and Pisces, we laughed. I mean, any time that instead of, maybe 14 years ago, I can't believe you did that, I can't believe you did that, blah, 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 and start screaming in trouble. Anytime our mom pissed us off or something went wrong, her and I would just bust up laughing. Perfect new moon in Gemini, and we went to Atlantic City, and we had a ball. We just got wild like we used to get 14, 15 years ago. My sister and I used to get kind of pretty crazy together, and we definitely got a little crazy, more toned down, but a little bit crazy. And I'll tell this story, and then I'll jump into the transits. Again, we don't have a lot of info on the transits this week, but I'll share this. So probably not my smartest idea was walking on the Atlantic City boardwalk alone in my little skimpy dress at 2 a.m. to go find pizza. But there I go. I thought, because I forgot that we had 24-hour room service and everything in the casino was closed. So I said, you know what, I'm going to go on the boardwalk. There's got to be something right here. And of course, I walked the very long distance that had nothing for a while. And, there's a lot of characters on the boardwalk at 2 a.m. in Atlantic City. And I got my pizza. White pizza with spinach on it, and I ate that, and I start walking back. And I look over into the shadows, and who do I see but Batman, waiting, gearing up. He's got a samurai sword, whole Batman outfit on a bike. And and he is in the shadows, and I thought, oh, well, I guess this is how it ends for me. I didn't know what he was about to go do, but something was about to happen, and I was right there. But I kind of stared at him so he knows, look, I see you, Batman. You're not going to catch me off guard. And all of a sudden, he comes biking out of the shadows, samurai sword and all, full mask on, and he comes rolling up right beside me, and he looks at me, and he was like, ma'am, I'm just here to stop the bullies. Don't worry about me. And I was like, all right, yeah, it's cool. No worries. Good luck. I was like, I'm just out here, spreading peace and love. So, and he's like, God bless. I said, God bless. And then there he goes, just sped off into the night like Batman does. And I walked back and went to bed, and we laughed and woke up the next day. But I was thinking to myself, when I saw him in the shadows, I was like, I didn't know what was going to happen. You never know. Mass shooting something. I thought, well, here it is. This is how it ends for me, right on the AC boardwalk by Batman with a samurai sword. Though I could have taken that out. But it turns out he was just out there protecting against the bullies. So he would be someone I guess I wanted on my side, which it was just sort of funny. That felt very new moon in Gemini, with with Gemini, it's like taking on other identities or personas or, and going out there and doing the right thing. It was pretty comical. But we had a good time. So that is what happened this week. I let go. I didn't work. I didn't think about astrology. And this is, again, coming late because my sister didn't leave till yesterday, and life has just been kind of crazy. I know we all have been there, especially those with kids. It's like I forget how crazy the end of the end of May through June is. And every year I'm like thrown off my rocker with the craziness and the busyness of all of it. So now that we're entering the summer solstice and the sun in Cancer, we can slow down a little bit. We know that Gemini season tends to get crazy and tends to get busy. When the sun enters Gemini is always doing a million things. It loves to do a million things all at once. And so our life path, our plot, our purpose becomes about doing a million things. And when the sun moves into Cancer, we slow down a little bit. Even though it's a sign of the moon, there's still a lot of movements. It's not like feeling like you got to do everything all the time. It's more just being in the moment. And I want to talk a lot about the summer solstice and sort of make this about how can we appreciate the time that we have during the summer solstice. Now, we know when the summer solstice begins, we now begin our descent into darkness, which always makes me sad. I mean, I love the summertime and the summer solstice, but at least with the winter solstice, it's the darkest night of the year, but we're like, okay, we're ascending into light now, and each day gets lighter. So now in the summer solstice, each day gets darker by a minute, right? I think it's a minute. Each day gets a little bit darker. So even though our summer joy, our summer pleasure, everything is right there at our fingertips, each day it's slowly slipping away. And I know for me, I know for most people, I would say 90% of people on this world, the summertime is their favorite time. We're out there enjoying, we're barbecuing, the weather makes us naturally happier. We tend to go out and want to exercise, we'll just talk, we stay up later, all the good things about having the bright light and the warmth there coming. But, are we really living in this joyful moment? Or instead are we worrying and trying to fix, manage, and control something that is out of our fix, manage, and control? So the awakening with this week's astrology is going to be about how to harness and really appreciate summer for what it is and not letting it slip by because we're so lost in our mind about worries and doubts and something that has nothing to do with today. So that's focus on how we celebrate life. I want to focus on happiness. Again, everyone is always so happy in the sunshine with all the beautiful outdoor distractions. We've been waiting all year for this time, but are we really appreciating it? Really allowing ourselves to be happy? Or are we still stressed, annoyed, complaining? Are you really appreciating and taking in these moments, or are you just still holding on to stress, worry, doubt, and fear? That stops you from being fully present in these beautiful moments that we so desperately seek when the sun moves into when the sun moves into Cancer. We acknowledge the pain and the suffering of things that make us upset, and we honor it as our moods change instead of trying to just focus and obsess with it. We honor it. We take the moment of the pain, the sadness, the suffering, and remove it from the current moment, because that pain and suffering has nothing to do with what is currently happening in the moment. Most likely it doesn't. Sometimes yes, but most likely it has nothing to do with what is happening in this moment. And remember, these months we're so desperately seeking it, and we get so lost. We spend so much time in the wintertime, at least up here in the Northeast, of where it's dark and cold and gloomy, being like, I'm miserable, blah, 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 blah. But then when we have this beautiful weather, we're still miserable in some way, worrying about this and work and da 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 da. So so as our moods change, as we come up in this beautiful Cancer season, that's really work on letting go what is out of our control. Most of us waste these beautiful days holding on to something mentally or emotionally that really doesn't matter. And we know in Cancer season, we know Cancer energy is really about holding on to something. Okay, they have a hard time letting things go, especially when it comes to their emotions. At least for a while, until the moon moves into Gemini or something, and then they're ready to let everything go. Most shit that you're holding on to does not matter. We hold on to so much bullshit, worrying about the past and the future, and none of it matters. Honestly, I always have this philosophy that the shit we worry about never happens. And the shit that we should worry about, we never see coming. Imagine all the tragedies in life, all the things that are upsetting, all the things that all of a sudden put a plot twist in your life. You really don't see them coming. They come out of nowhere. And our fears that we're currently obsessing about are projections. Maybe it's fears that you read online. Maybe it is a fear that has happened to you in the past that you can't let go of. Either way, I want to stress these beautiful days you're spent worrying about the past and the future and missing out on these beautiful days until, bam, it's winter again and you're, oh, I just wish it was summer. Well, guess what? You didn't appreciate the summer, so now you got to live even deeper in the winter darkness. Just kidding, kind of. So this week, I want you all to bring the awareness to yourself when you're in any of these stressful projecting moments in your brain. This week, next week, the week after, when you're out there and you're by the pool and you're sipping on some energy drink or an alcoholic beverage or whatever, just relaxing, and then all of a sudden, boom, that thought comes. What did I say to that person last week, and what does that really mean, or what did they mean by that, or do you think my job is going to let me go in 3 weeks, or what if I don't pass that exam in another week from now? And then next thing you know, you're down in your head hour out there trying to just enjoy the pool, and then your kids come up to you, and then you're annoyed at them because you're already stressed out about something that didn't even happen, okay? Didn't even happen, and it's not going to happen. Or it's already happened, and you have to let it go. So this is how we bring the awareness. This is how we change. This is how we shift. Now that I put this into your brain, you're going to be more aware when those thoughts come up. So when those thoughts come up, and you know it's taking you out of your summer moment, stop and ask yourself, can I control this in any way? Most likely, absolutely not. 99% of you are not. It's out of your control. So let me focus on the present moment. And you can either, what I like to do when I'm out of there is I like to get very grounded in some way, like maybe tell someone that takes me out of the moment, or just be like, Colleen, get it together. You know that's not a reality. Get it together. And I might have to tell myself that 15 times in a row. Get it together, get it together, get it together. And then eventually my brain lets it go. I also like to send out a prayer, to the angels and the ancestors and guides, the people I pray to, and say, please remove this thing that is out of my control. Please remove it from my mind so I can enjoy the moment. I love the serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And I will say that sometimes. Or, again, I ask myself and focus so much on what can I control. I can't control what I'm worrying about, so what can I control in this present moment? Because that is all I can control. Sometimes my other little trick that I like to do is, if I'm getting lost and I need to get out of my head, is I focus on immediately what's around me. So let's say, again, I'm at the pool, I'm just going for summertime, I'll say, okay, I see my kids over there playing in the water. What color is this chair? It's a white chair. What color is that person bathing suit over there? That's a blue bathing suit. Do I see how that water's falling? I start just purposely focusing in on everything in my surrounding that is right there in that moment. And I will do that over and over again until I let go of that worry, till I don't see that worry anymore. So those worries are going to come up more than once for most people. So each time, how can I let this go? What can I control with whatever I'm worrying about? Say a prayer, concentrate on your surroundings in the current moment. That is what you want to do to bring you back to this moment. So this week, we're going to bring that awareness. Anytime we're worrying and it's taking us out of these beautiful moments, these beautiful weeks and those beautiful days, we're going to do those things. We're going to pray. We're going to ask ourselves. We're going to understand. And then we're going to look around our surrounding moments and do something that brings us back to this present moment. Because that is all we have. Ooh, so now we are in summer. Summer solstice, baby. Okay, so after the sun enters Cancer, a couple hours later, we got Mercury squared Mars. Mercury in Gemini right now, square Mars in Leo. So there's a jump start to a plan. Wait, let me make sure. Yeah. I'm sorry, sextile. I was like, wait a second, it's not square. Why am I saying that? Sorry. Mercury sextile Mars. So there's a jump start to the plan or taking action. Something small, kind of like when you just turn the ignition on and a car starts. That sort of jump start to a plan. You turned on the car's ignition and the car has started. And now all of a sudden you have the beginning of the plan. And you feel like you want to take action. You want to drive off within that action. And there's also support for taking actions. With the sextile, there's a light support, or there's a beginning support. And we're also going to be a little bit cocky, but where it counts. Or put someone in their well-deserved place that you've been waiting for. When Mercury sextiles Mars, we got Mars and Leo, so that's where we look for the confidence, the cockiness, the you're going to hear me roar. And Mercury in Gemini is a little smartass, so it's sort of like, all right, well, I'm going to tell you exactly how it is. Well-placed, I'm going to leave your head spinning with everything that I said. And you're not even going to know what to say or how to take that. And also mentally implementing your power and strategies with how you're going to make something work. So it's a lot of like that beginning stage of making something work. And again, you're very supported right now within that. And it might just be jumpstart in your mind. You have a thought and then you finally write it down. And later on, whenever Mercury trines Mars, there's going to be you really pulling the trigger and really moving forward through the steps of that plan. Now, Sunday, we got Mercury square Neptune. This is always a quick transit usually, and especially when Mercury's in its home sign, its home domicile of Gemini, it's not usually that big of a deal. And when it goes with Neptune, you're only going to feel that for about a day or so. This can bring some misinformation. Maybe you've realized that someone was spreading misinformation about you, and you go and clear that up. With Mercury and Gemini, it's going to be easy clear up, and Neptune and Pisces, something that, maybe, and it usually comes in something soft. It's not like this huge epic issue. It comes in something soft, like you and your friend are hanging out at the barbecue, and she happens to mention that Lucille 2 weeks ago said that you did this, and you're like, whoa, I did not do that. That is literally not what happened at all. There can be a square, like sort of you go out and party, you see your escape, and you want to do it though. With Mercury and Gemini, there's that mischievous part, like I want to do that. So maybe you go out and party hard on Saturday, and then you wake up on Sunday morning and you're like, oh my God, I do not feel good. I can't believe that I let myself go like that. I did have fun last night, but today I feel like shit. So just a little bit of some repercussions to our actions that evolve, like disassociating or letting go or being sort of illusionary. There can be just a fun escape too. Again, it has a little bit of energy like last week, like kind of escaping in a fun way and letting go. So it's going to be quick. It's not really going to be anything major for too many people. Just sort of the vibe there can be just also wanting to escape your mind, wanting to not turn off your phone and not answer anyone's calls. Those type of things will be the themes for Sunday into Monday morning. But I really think you're going to feel it more Saturday night into Sunday night, those sort of 24 hours. So I know I also said that I would have last week by this week the Saturn in Pisces horoscopes. I have them all written out. I'm hoping to do it by tomorrow morning or tonight. It's been with my sister here, and again, my kids' schedule, my schedule, all of a sudden life just fucking took off, and the salon has been batshit crazy, which I love it. I mean, I obviously am so grateful when I'm very busy like that at the salon, very, very grateful, but it does put my astrology stuff a little bit to the side when that ends up happening, because I do hair 5 days a week. And then instead of getting out early, I'm doing this, I'm doing longer. I have no time at work to get any of my astrology stuff done because I'm booked solid every day. Again, I really am appreciative of that, but sometimes my astrology, when that happens, gets pushed back a little bit. So tonight, this weekend, they're all written out. I got all those Saturn and Pisces all the Saturn and Pisces horoscopes for all the rising signs, and those will be out shortly, I promise you. Thank you, everyone. I want to remind everyone the best way to support this podcast is by sharing this with a friend, rating, reviewing it, subscribing it, posting on social media. A lot of you do that all the time, and it's because of you I've gotten a lot of success. So I'm really grateful for all of you. I love you guys, and I hope you have a nice, easy astrology week this week, because that's what it's going to be. Not too much crazy energy, just very even keel energy, and things will start to make sense. I love you all. Have a beautiful day, and goodbye, and happy summer. Go out there and enjoy it, and bring awareness to the times that you don't.